Alright, we have some rot here on my pillar, so I'm going to attempt to repair this without having to purchase a new one. This is a 10-foot, appears to be wood column, 8-inch diameter. Let's show you what we got going on here. So, I'm not sure how old this is, probably about 14 years old. And the bottom appears to be some kind of a resin, but it's wood on top of that, and it's clearly, rotted. The water got up there somehow, so it's pretty. I think this is load bearing also. So we're going to try to fix this without spending, $200 for a new pillar. Okay, so I decided we're going to make my own mold out of this, so I measured approximately how the circumference of the pillar here, and I marked it here. And what I did was I was going to make my mold out of just a pot that I bought, but the dimensions were not correct. So I had some tar paper that was available, and with that dimension, I measured with this black mark there, and I cut myself a piece of tar paper. I'm going to make my mold with that for the concrete. Now, what I have over here, I cut one piece already. I'm going to make two identical molds. Here is a second one. So basically, I have my straight edge. This edge is cut nice and straight here. Make sure all your edges are perfectly straight. I've measured the distance from the edge of the tar paper all the way to here, exactly all the way across. So that is my measurement for each mold I'm going to make. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this to the proper length. And just want to take your box cutter, double check, make sure nothing gets moved, and everything is perfect. So it's right on key there. What I'm going to do is just put some pressure on here, put some weight on this, take your box cutter razor and just run it down all the way across. There we go. And the results. I thought I would do that. Okay. So now I have two identical pieces of tar paper. I'm simply going to roll them together to make a nice circular form for my pillar, for my column, and I'll go ahead and wrap that with duct tape and show you how it is. Okay, here I am joining the two ends of the tar paper together. I found the easiest way to do this was to set it on its seam, or where we're joining together. Push those as close together as I can, and I'm just using duct tape. After all, it's just a mold for this. So basically that's where we're at. And just kind of work it in there. I want the joints as tight as possible. Okay, got a little bit more here. Make sure that is going to be just about perfect. I'm running that right there, like so. A little bit more duct tape. Alright, I've never done this before. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. But I didn't want to spend, almost 600 bucks if I can repair it for $30. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So that's where we're at with this. And I'm basically making my mold here. So hopefully this will round out a little bit. When the concrete goes in, it should take a more round. This should be approximately just slightly larger than the dimensions of my pillar. So I'm hoping that when I pour the concrete in there, I will be able to make it completely round. So that is my form for one of my pillars, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to do the other one here real quick, and then I'll be back with another step. Okay, so I took one 60-pound bag of concrete mix. Just be quick drying. Good mixture here. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this into those two post forms there, and we'll see how much we're short or over. Alright, so basically this is trowel and filling up my pillars. I don't need them all the way to the top because I think the dry rot only goes up about 4 or 5 inches. So this is one bag of concrete at about 8-inch diameter pillar. I might add a little more, another half a bag, but that's what it's looking like. I'm going to press it down and kind of just tap the sides of the thing to make it as round as I possibly can. Okay, so we got them topped off here, and they were not quite round enough. I'm just taking this pot as a template and just kind of pushing that down over there, tapping a little bit, letting it settle, and that's pretty round right there. Same way with the other one. Wound up using another half a bag because I found my dry rot was a little higher than I thought it was. So we're going to let those sit for a while. And that's looking nice. We'll be back with dry pillars. Alrighty, here we are. It's been about a week, so I'm going to try to take these pillars, take the little casing off and see how it looks. So let's cut this real quick. If I get that other, should just tear right off of here, I'm assuming. Let's see how it looks. I'm not sure how much of this is going to stick. Guess we'll find out, huh? Okay, so apparently cement does not stick to duct tape too much, but it looks like it likes to stick to the tar paper. So we got a nice little hole there. Alright, so I'm going to get this off and then show you what it looks like. Okay, so this ain't coming off of there. Not with conventional force. So I'm going to use an angle grinder to get that tar paper off there. Clearly, if I would have just used or put all duct tape on the inside, it would have come out pretty nice. But since I didn't, I'm going to have to use an angle grinder, so we will do that and I'll be back. Hello friends, okay, we cut through the pillar, added the concrete thing there with a little sanding and whatnot. Just kind of got it braced, but it doesn't look like it's load bearing. I'll be back. Okay, so we got one pillar down there, and that's kind of what it looks like. Put a bunch of sealer on there and caulking. Apparently this is not a load bearing. And if it was, we kind of jacked up the ceiling a little bit, so there was a little bit of weight on there, but not too much. Alright, so here's the other one that's got to come out. Basically what I did is I took this piece of, just some way to mark the height of the concrete part, and I set that on the lip right here, and then I took that basically and put a pen and just kind of rolled it around the top to make sure the height was right, and that's what we're going to cut. So I'm going to cut that out. It should be the correct height all the way around, and when we did it over there, we just had to grind a little bit off the top to make it smoother, and it fit like a glove. So hopefully that's what's going to happen on this one, and I'll show you what we did. Alright, we'll be back. Okay, drill a hole through there so we can get the saw started.
The ancient prophets, as they are called, were frequently ignored.
Basically, you just cut this whole pillar off. We do have it braced up at the top again, and it's just hanging there off of nothing. So I cut it off, and then I'm going to take it's just got some screws holding this in here, and apparently it's not even glued to the base here. So I'm just going to take this rotten part off, and just going to do that with a hammer basically. There's a couple screws on the base holding it up. Maybe I can unscrew those, I don't know. Yeah, I might unscrew those. Right. Okay, so we removed the screws. They were rusted here in the bottom. Got those out of there. And there's the core, so most of the wood's still sound, it appears to be. And obviously this is just free hanging here. It was a little bit of weight on it, so when we did jack it up, I just used a 4x4 post and my van jack. Seems to be working pretty good, so that's where we're at so far, and we'll be right back with the next step. Alright, so this mold I made was a little bit taller than the other one, so what I did was take the cut out piece of wood I have here, and I just went around it, and you can see where it's quite a bit higher. So I just marked with the red line how much needs to be ground off with an angle grinder. So that will be back. Okay, so after I sanded it down, it fits under there, and I'm just going to mark around here with a marker, just where it's not, where it's sticking out a little bit.
President Saddam Hussein of Iraq seems determined to set himself up as a successor to King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. He is determined that Babylon once again become a world power. Isaiah tells us that Babylon will become the jewel of the kingdom, the glory of the Babylonians' pride. For nearly 3 decades,
okay, so there is that, and just kind of. Okay, so there's the red line, and I'm going to take the angle grinder and just kind of trim that up so it's flush, and then we'll be back. Okay, I also put a vertical line right here, so we know where I'm going to put this back exactly. So if I go and trim this and I try to put it back, it won't be off a little bit. So I took the red line here, and I line up the red line here. So this end's going in first. So what you want to do is just take this, just put the lip of it right here on the very edge, and kind of rock it back up in there, and then just kind of rotate it a bit. Just make sure it lines up properly. My line is way over here, so I'm going to rotate that around. But okay, so I didn't start on the line, so that's coming away a little bit.
You need help?
So I rotate it out, and then I try to put it back in again. Didn't have my lines lined up, so now I have my lines lined up. It's like a glove. Oops, tap the space, move a little bit. Okay, so we're putting construction adhesive around here. We're also putting it all over the top here, and I'm going to put it on the top of our pillar as our column here as well. I'm just going to use this scraper to kind of flatten it out. I'm going to use this as a, hopefully it's going to work as a kind of vapor barrier too, to keep the water from wicking up into the pillar again. So that's why I'm putting it all over. Okay, so, and this is going on the bottom of here as well. Just trying to work it up into the wood pores there. Alright, and when we get the pillar in there, we'll show you what happened next. So we got our red line here, and we line up that red line there. We got it coated with a construction adhesive bottom everywhere where we coat pretty much. And we're just going to kind of get it on the lip here. And hopefully just kind of ride it in there like butter.
I thought you lift it up first.
Look at that, folks. That's beautiful. Okay, we're just going to make sure it's centered all the way around. Okay. It looks good on around here on the base, and now up here it just looks a little bit off. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to rotate this a smidge so our lines line up. And now I'm just going to take some pressure off this on the jack, and it should lower it right on there. So here goes. Make sure it's all good everywhere. Lined up nicely. How's that looking all the way around? Looks pretty good. So I'm just going to take some weight off with the jack. It's not going anywhere now. Now I can remove this, make final check to make sure it's good all the way around, and it's this. I'm just going to tap this a little bit this way, maybe not. So it looks like it was there, so I'm going to jack it back up just a hair. This was off just a hair, so I'm just going to tap this back. I'll make sure the pillar the base was where it was originally. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to straighten it back up, and we'll show you when it's done. Alrighty, so this is what the finished pillar looks like. It just finished, and yeah. All we need to do is paint it now. And instead of spending $500, we spent approximately $30, and once we got it figured out, it only took, what, about an hour for this one?
Yeah, just about.
And the first one took us about 2.5 hours, so few hours of labor, some trial and error, and we saved ourselves about $540. Thanks for watching the pillar repair demonstration. Okay, so we got let it dry, and I took my angle grinder and kind of tried to smooth it out as much as possible. And now I'm painting outside here. We'll kind of see how it looks. Just kind of go around here. Oops. It's very porous, so I'm going to kind of get a lot of paint in there. Okay, so that's not too bad. It's kind of what it looks like. You can tell a little bit that I guess I could use an angle grinder and even got it even more precise. You can tell there's a little bit of difference in the circumference at the bottom, but I think once I get this painted, it's not gonna, unless you look real close, you're not even gonna tell the difference really. And so it's cost about $30 instead of approximately $550 I would have paid for buying the new pillars. And this should last a long time if I keep it painted. And yeah, so there is the finished work. I'm going to put a couple of coats of paint and do one more short video here and show you how it looks at the end. Okay, so here's the pillar. It's painted. As you can tell, it's you can kind of see the bulbousness there. So what I'm going to do is take an angle grinder and I'm just basically grinding it down so it's level with this. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going all the way around. I'm going to do it to the other one too. Try to get it as round as possible, just going up and down and like this to get it to look more of the same dimensions. You can see it's mostly good around here. And as you get to this side, you can still see a little bulge there. So I'm going to go all the way around, do that, and then I'll show you how it's doing. I'm just using an angle grinder with a cement grinding grinder on there. It's pretty effective. So it didn't take as long as I thought it would. So I'll show you what it looks like when I get done here. Okay, so here we go. I use the angle grinder, and as you can see, it's a lot more a lot closer to the dimensions, the circumference of the above wooden pillar. Same with this one. Not perfect, but much better than it was before. So I'm going to get this painted up and show you guys what it looks like. But yeah, this is about half hour's worth of work with the angle grinder. And I did have a little crack here, not a crack, but some indentation in the concrete where I poured a bag and then I poured another half bag on there, so I didn't pack it down all the way. So when I did the mold, it left a little gap there. So I filled that in with some grout stuff I had. Hopefully that'll work when I get some paint on it and kind of sanded it down a little bit. And that's what it looks like. So all the way around here, it's pretty close to the dimensions. And same one here. So I'll paint that and show you what it looks like, the finished product. Okay, here is the final painting of the pillar. Now that we got it all touched up here. Just kind of go around here. There's the other one. It's pretty even hard to tell. I'm going to put another coat on there, obviously, but it's pretty hard to tell. You know, the dimensions look very similar, so even the texture looks okay. So this is kind of where we're at, and once I get the second coat on here, I'll show you the finished product. See if I can't fill in all these little holes and stuff. The concrete just likes to suck up the paint. So that doesn't look too bad at all. And I saved $540. So I'll show you what it looks like when I get this all painted up. Okay, so here is the finished product. Man, I say okay a lot. Here it is. Got it all painted up. So the closest two are the ones that I added the bottom part of the concrete, and the final two in the background are the original ones. So kind of just do a little walk around here. You can tell a little bit if you get up real close. Here's one that's not. But all in all, I think as you get out here, it's really difficult to even tell. That's what it looks like. So not too bad. I'm pretty happy with it. A little bit of work, but in the long run I saved quite a bit of money, over $500. So that is the final product, and thanks for watching. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. If you have questions, feel free to leave them in the description below.